Big Ten now. I hate this bracket, by the way. It confuses me and it hurts my head. Because like Indiana and Oregon like play here, but it looks like my brain registers that like Minnesota and Washington are playing Oregon. Like
who did this?
It's just a lot going on. And
graphic
I don't like
design is my passion.
Yeah.
Who has the bye? Okay, so wait, USC has a bye. Why would they?
Yeah, so the byes are USC, Maryland, UCLA, Ohio State here. But it's weird. I don't like it. I don't know. Like I can't even exactly pinpoint like but like it just.
Why would you put it on the bottom? If they're the number 1 seed, why would they be on the bottom? And this is making me upset. Let's get through this.
Yeah.
Obviously, 11. God dang.
That's exactly what I want to talk about. Because Iowa had their major Big Ten skid at the beginning where they lost 5 straight in conference play. So ultimately, they earned that day 1 game, right? But Iowa is not an 11 seed. Like they're not. Like the Big Ten is also like very good. Like on like I feel like the SEC is like rightfully so talked about for like the depth of their conference this year. But I feel like the Big Ten has very similar like possibilities of that. It's just in different ways compared to the SEC. And Iowa is a team, and we've seen them beat USC. We've seen them play UCLA close. Like they are a team that like, again, their foundation has completely changed under Big Jan Jensen. And it's now a defensive mindset for Iowa. And it's weird to say that after the era of just pure
relax.
No, I ain't being negative. I'm not doing nothing.
Relax. There were blocks.
Did I say that there was no defense? No, I said the foundation was offense. There's a difference.
Whatever. Let's get through this.
But Iowa's defense is legit. And so like they are a team that, I mean, look, if you make it past, again, they play Michigan State if they win against Wisconsin. Like Iowa's not a team I want to see if I'm Ohio State and I make it. Like, it's weird. Yeah. See,
Illinois play.
Illinois plays the winner of Rutgers, Nebraska.
No, somebody need their behind whooped for this.
Yeah,
this is
brutal. This is a brutal graphic. But yeah, that's what immediately stuck out to me first. Was Iowa. What for you?
Iowa about to be fighting for their lives. Like,
yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah. That's really, they trying to make sure they don't sneak back into no Final Four. We ain't giving you no type of leg up so that you can mess around and win the conference. Absolutely not. Fight for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
this is an absolute gauntlet. This is gonna be
it's wicked. Great. It's wicked. No, it's gonna be some fantastic
great. Because if you get Iowa, Michigan State, either one of those against Ohio State is going to be – Ohio State and Michigan State, like you have football hate. Love it.
Yeah.
UCLA versus – who would it be?
Rutgers, Nebraska, or Illinois. More likely Illinois.
I want to see a crash out from Rutgers, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, we're not going to get it.
That's a shame. Bothers me. Oregon could.
Oregon is a team that look. If you Oregon's losses, they just shoot horribly from 3 in literally every loss. Like it's not to oversimplify it, but like genuinely, if Oregon just shoots like 30% in those games where they lose, we're having very different conversations about Oregon as a team right now. Now, obviously, you got to hit the shots, but if those shots start falling in postseason play, the defense is there. Like if they just shoot 30% from 3, like things could get wicked. Now USC is playing their absolute best basketball right now, and so like that is who Oregon, if they end up beating Indiana, would end up playing. But I'm interested in seeing what an Oregon team that's hitting threes could do against USC. Now there's obviously a lot of ifs and other factors in that, but I'm intrigued. Like I am. Like, this is not – I think everyone has kind of penciled in, like, we're going to get the Battle of LA 3. That's not a given by any means at all in this bracket for either team. Because also UCLA, what are you prepared to do about it? Like, people are throwing dirt on your grave right now. What are you prepared to do about it? And so, like, I'm looking, like, if you play Ohio State, like, Ohio State to me has also underperformed this season.
They have wait. No, I'm trying to follow. This is so horrible.
Yeah. So it's bad.
I was like, are they connected to Maryland? No, they're not.
No, it's Ohio State. Yeah. They play Ohio
It's the
State.
worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But also I'm looking at like Michigan. Silent Swords. What we get into?
Ooh, hey, what's up?
Obviously Maryland has had their fair share of injury troubles throughout this. So like just in general speaking, like if you're looking at an upset, like the 4 seed there is potentially susceptible. Like
is Cheyenne healthy?
She's back now, but it's been very in and out. I feel like with her, like I don't think they've been connected. If I'm not mistaken, like it's not. I don't think it's like the same reoccurring injury. But I feel like Maryland hasn't been able to. Like they just had the big win against Ohio State, so like you pick that up. So you have momentum coming into it, but it's still just been weird. Like they have that game winner.
Shout out to Cody.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, like this conference is. Again, do I hope that we get Battle of LA 3? Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. I'd be here for it. If nothing else, is to see Juju going stupid again. Like, yeah, I'd be here for it. But that is not a given by any means. And I mean, people have been like, oh, we might see Battle of LA 3, maybe even 4 times, like with the NCAA tournament too. And I'm like, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves because this conference is legit. Like,
but this is the one where it's like if you don't get the big names and you don't get the Hollywood matchup, like you still get really good hoops. Respectfully to the other, conferences, but it's like at the top we kind of need that to happen. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
But this one is like you got a storyline all the way down to 11.
No, literally.
You almost had one at 15.
The lack of storyline is the storyline at 15 with Rutgers. Like,
you got some Big Ten protocol. Like, look, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, just in general, like obviously, I think Iowa and Oregon are the teams like that I'm most excited to see about potentially upsetting. I think there's certainly other teams that are capable of doing it, but again, UCLA. Like, I'm ready. Like, I want UCLA to put belt to ass to teams in this tournament.
Oh my!
Like, prove it. Like, because I mean, realistically, at this point, like people have, I think people early on, like in the discourse of UCLA, underrated the Big Ten and like the teams that they were playing against to remain undefeated up until the lead up to the USC games. But ultimately, one, people don't got Peacock, so they ain't tuning into those Big Ten games, and two, recency bias. So like, I think people do genuinely feel like UCLA skated off on that South Carolina win early and kind of built this resume that they don't feel like is very strong. And like the USC games certainly didn't help that case by any means. So like, what are you prepared to do about it? And it felt like the energy was shifting. I don't know if it's for a good or a bad way in that Corey Close press conference after the game, which was on No Cap Space YouTube channel because Greer had boots on the ground. But like, I don't think I've seen Corey like that, where it looked like players have been potentially crying. Like just that's a different, like Corey is known as the player coach, as like it's not what we're used to from UCLA. So I'm genuinely very interested in how UCLA comes out and again prove it to people, like put belt to ass, and then presumably go win against USC. Like if I'm a UCLA, like that's what I want. Because right now, if you crash out early in this, you probably lose your number 1 seed if you lose that first game. And like depending on how other stuff shakes out, like even if you lose to an Ohio State or Michigan State in the next game, like I don't know if that 1 seed is safe depending on how other stuff goes. So like,
and if that 1 seed ain't safe, I'm sorry. Like now you got like Holy Cross looking at you like cook food. Like, oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
15, but like any day, anyway, like we can. We can pull this upset. Like you do not want to give. Yeah, you don't want to be limping into March. Like that's
like you have to at least make the championship game, and really I mean, obviously the goal is to win it, and that should be their standard with this roster. So I'm looking at UCLA and USC. Keep doing what you're doing because that looked good. that looked good. You ready to talk about the SEC?
Yes, because it means more.
Oh, it means so much more. Look how clean this graphic is. Look how how straightforward this is in comparison. I think the biggest news in terms of the seeding is the fact that Tennessee dropped to number 9 after another loss to Georgia. And now because Vanderbilt and Tennessee swapped there, so now Vanderbilt gets the bye. So we'll begin that more than likely that Tennessee Vanderbilt game. I can't wait for that one. That's gonna be so much fun.
Oh my gosh!
I cannot wait, and they fight for the right to play number 1 South Carolina. So have fun with that. But like, I'm interested. So now the big news in the SEC tournament is the fact that Flau'jae Johnson is not going to be playing for LSU. And so for me, Texas lost that coin toss, but like you should be feeling you might be feeling better about your run now about potential opponents in comparison to number 1 South Carolina. So I'm interested. What are your thoughts on that? On who might have the easier path between Texas and South Carolina?
First off, I hate Georgia's new logo. It's just stupid.
I don't like it either.
I hate it. Why are you lowercase g? That's just you've already admitted defeat right there.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Second, like Texas, if things shake out how they should, would still have to play Ole Miss.
Yep.
Ole Miss in March it gets a little spooky.
Agreed.
So Kentucky, I want to say there is no real easy path because both of these teams are vulnerable. True. Yeah. Like in years past, it would be like South Carolina, we running through everybody. It don't matter. But now it's kind of like we done took some losses. We done hit some bumps and bruises. You know, I got to see what's going to happen. This postseason because we have the bye. That may, with this team, that may be a detriment for them.
For South Carolina.
Like in years past, it's like we needed rest. We needed to chill for a second. This year, like,
interesting.
I don't know. Like, maybe those 2 rounds of rest might hurt us. I'm a little concerned about rest or time off more.
Yeah, it's always the rest versus rust argument. Yeah, like just in general with buys across all sports. Yeah,
but like this year in particular, I would like to see us keep playing. So I don't think there is an easy path because you have LSU pumping Michaela Williams, not the other Michaela, sorry. You have LSU saying like Michaela so slept on, and then Michaela like opened her Bible,
she started tweeting like a receiver, and that's a dangerous thing for a hooper. Like for a hooper like Michaela to start tweeting like a wide receiver, I don't want to play against that.
So yeah, she's got an axe to grind. Yeah, so LSU and Ole Miss could be tough.
I think Alabama can be too, to be honest. I mean, Zay Green just dropped almost 30 on Oklahoma. Sarah Ashley Barker is legit. She's kind of been in and out with injury stuff. So like, it seems like she's kind of
saw that Georgia logo coming and had to get up out of there. I respect it, sister.
Yeah. So like honestly, like I can kind of see like the bottom of the bracket with LSU and Alabama. On one hand, I'm looking at Anissa Morrow and I'm like, yo, go prove that you should have been SEC Player of the Year. Like, if that is
too, yes.
Like if that's what we're like, if Flau'jae's not here, like what are you prepared to do about it? And like get that chip on your shoulder. But also on the other hand, Alabama just beat LSU with Flau'jae. And so I'm interested in seeing what Bama does in this because Texas hasn't, like, they have had good wins. Like they have the stretch with South Carolina, Kentucky, LSU, but like the wins against the lower level SEC teams haven't been like incredibly convincing. And so I'm honestly eyeing, like, if there was to be a Cinderella run from this, I'm eyeing Alabama, honestly, to if they were to potentially make it past LSU and Texas. Now, I'm not like putting that in stone or anything, but like that's kind of the path that I'm looking at for a potential Cinderella team is that just because of, again, no Flau'jae for LSU. We just saw Alabama beat them anyways, and Texas has been like the offense can just shut off completely sometimes. So if Alabama's rolling, that's where I'm kind of eyeing right now. But also, Tennessee and Vanderbilt playing South Carolina, like in that first game back. Like I don't want to play either of those teams. Again, I'm not predicting losses in these, but
lick back though.
That's what I'm saying. Or I mean, you're looking at two players for Vandy and Camille Pierre and Michaela Blakes that can go off for 50. Like we know this, So like if you catch a star performance, I don't know, man.
But you have a former Gamecock on South Carolina or Tennessee, in Talasia Cooper. Like, yeah, this could be dangerous. And then after all of that, you still have Kentucky waiting.
No, you're gonna have Oklahoma waiting, and I'm gonna tell you why. So we're gonna get into this because let me tell you right now, Oklahoma has won 7 straight games, 7 or 8. And Reagan Beers is playing the best basketball that she's been playing in Crimson. She's had 2 30-point games. She just dropped like 26 and like 14 or something like that against Alabama. Like the shooters have been shooting. Like again, Oklahoma still has a lot of the same deficiencies that they've had in past seasons. Turn the ball over sometimes. Sometimes they just can't make it from 3. But
from Oklahoma, yes.
But you have Reagan Beers as a safety net now that hasn't been there in years past. And again, their last loss was to Kentucky. And Kentucky just played South Carolina pretty tough in this past game. Like that was not a cakewalk by any means for South Carolina either. And so I actually feel pretty good about Oklahoma making it past Kentucky. I feel like I might just be, this might just be my bias kicking in, honestly, but like they're playing the best basketball they've played this entire season. And again, Kentucky has good bigs, but when it comes to bigs, I'm taking Reagan Beers against most bigs in the entire nation. She's phenomenal. We saw what she's done in the past at Oregon State, and it feels like she's finally gotten it to the level of that in this new system, playing at a faster pace, playing with shooters like Peyton Verhulst around her who can score literally at all 3 levels, including like NBA threes. So I'm here. I'm here for Oklahoma. But ultimately, you're playing South Carolina in Greenville. And I don't know. I don't know if anyone's beating that. And I think South Carolina has to turn to Joyce Edwards in this tournament. And it's been happening more and more, but I need to see it keep happening. And I just the fact that I just want to see her let loose. And it's not in the same way that we've had the Malaysia conversations and that dialogue over the course of this past season. But like I just want to see Joyce hoop. It's the same way that I kind of feel with Toby Fournier at Duke. Like, go let these stars be stars. They're so good and they produce so much. But I think that this is going to be the SEC tournament where we might see the most upsets that we've seen across the board in recent history of the SEC tournament. I don't think we're going to get a moment as good as Camilla's shot, but when it comes to just chaos, that's what this tournament can bring. And I'm very excited about that. But don't sleep on Oklahoma. It's finally time. It's time to agenda. I haven't really agended this season, really. But it's time now. Reagan Beers has made me a believer. But yeah, that'll do it. For us here on Ball Up Top, Shawnee just had to dip. But that'll do it for us here on Ball Up Top. Make sure you guys are subscribed on the podcast if you're listening. Rate it if you're on the podcast platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube regardless, because March is live season for us here at No Cat Space. And that means we're going to be live consistently, nonstop, all the time. And I can't wait for March Madness and the chaos that it brings, which is likely going to mean emergency lives when chaos goes down. So make sure you're subscribed, hitting the bell across the board on the podcast platforms, on YouTube, and of course the website where we have launched our paid subscribers. All the free content is still free. It's going to stay free, but there is some fantastic content that has been dropping on the paid side as well. So make sure you go tap in on that. Go check it out. See what you like. Go take a browse on the paid content now. And go check out Home Field as well. March Madness. It's here. Go get your college gear. We will see y'all next time.